Hi guys, welcome back to the Rad Hyrox podcast. We are buzzing today, and I don't think this guest needs an introduction. But I'm going to give her a quick one because she's 3 times Hyrox world champion. She runs the hybrid engine with her husband Anthony, and she's got the cutest little girl Lily. And if you follow her on Instagram, you will definitely know all about her. She's probably got better burpees than most of us, hasn't she? So welcome to the podcast, Lauren. Awesome to have you here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Her burpees are much better than I ever expected from somebody her size.
So cute when you do them like in time with each other. It's oh so cute.
Sometimes there's distractions, but we try and go in sync.
I love it. I love it. So how has life been? Have you been doing a lot of family time since the world champs, or how have you been feeling?
Yeah, we've had a bit of traveling. My husband's grandfather turned 90, so we went up to Montana where a lot of his family is. And spent some time there. There was a birthday party, and his mom has a house up there as well. So we spent a little bit extra time with his sisters and their family there. So there's been quite a bit of travel, I'd say. Relaxing on the training a bit, but definitely not relaxing in any other way.
I don't think you can relax with a child, can you? I don't think any parent has ever said they're relaxed.
Uh, no, she's like a little wind up toy. I don't think I don't have experience with any other kids, but unless she's like isolated and in her room and in bed, she's just going. Like there's no stopping her.
She's got to get her energy from you, no?
I don't know. She's got a lot more energy than I do.
Oh,
So
bless her.
you've been chilling out on the training side of things. Has it been nice, like mentally, to back off a little bit and have a little bit of space to just do maybe more of the stuff you enjoy instead of the stuff you have to do?
I really enjoy training, honestly. So it's kind of hard to back off a little bit.
Mm.
But I think it's important, and it's good to take a little bit of a break, but um it's hard to I feel like that's how I structure my day is around like certain pieces of training. So like without that, it's learning how to restructure things.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about there was a bit of an injury niggle. You
Mhm.
weren't unfortunately able to take part in the relay, which must have been gutting.
Yes, it's heartbreaking. I was so
Yeah,
excited for it.
yeah. Is it feeling okay? Is everything
Yeah,
been
yeah. No,
okay?
it's
Yeah.
like what's the date? We're a little over a month out now. I don't feel anything in terms of it ended up being my hamstring. When it did first pop up like that weekend, I I couldn't tell like what exactly hurt because my whole leg hurt. And there was some swelling kind of all over, so I didn't know where the focal point was. But after like a couple of days of rest and swelling going down, I was able to pinpoint that it was my hamstring. So I didn't run for, I don't know, a little over a week. No impact. I was doing like some red light therapy on it, like cupping and scraping and things that you could potentially have access to in your home. And it, like when I started to try and run again, I could feel a little bit, but it was definitely not what it was. Like when it was acute and first happened. And now being like 5 weeks out, it's perfectly fine.
Oh, that's cool.
That's
So
good.
are
Yeah.
you just going to build the running back up steady now, or are you straight back
Yeah,
into
and
it?
I'll so I started probably building it up a couple weeks. As soon as again, I
As soon
don't
as you
love
can.
not running. So as soon as I could, I started building it up. So I'm already in that process. You want
Cool.
to say hi for a second?
Yeah, let's say
Say
hi.
hi.
Hey, Lily.
Hi.
Say hi. Yeah.
Hi.
Um,
Not camera shy.
No, not at
not
all.
camera shy at all. But I have already started building it up, and it's just kind of I'm not not where like I was 5 weeks ago, but I'm definitely on the path to getting back to that.
Yeah, amazing. It's good that it's nothing too serious or long-term effects and you, yeah.
Yeah. I thought, I really thought I did some serious damage just because of like how painful it was. So I am very happy and surprised that like it was such like a short-lived thing, just because like the acute of the pain and like how painful it was made me feel like I had done something serious, and that doesn't seem to be the case. So very grateful.
Did you feel it like go? Did you feel like something happened?
No.
Or it was after?
No, it was after. So the race was Friday night, and then I knew I was going to be racing. I was supposed to do 2 races on Sunday, actually.
Oh, the
So
doubles as well.
Oh yeah, of
yeah, I was
course.
going to do doubles too. So Saturday morning I woke up to do a flush out run to get my, I don't know, any soreness that I could get out of my legs. I wanted to be able to do that, and almost immediately, not almost, it was immediately, it was painful to run. And like I'm sure very many athletes are, they're like, oh no, I can push through this. So I kept running even though it hurt, until it like, but it was progressively getting worse and not better. So I was able to run out to the boardwalk and jog a little bit there, and then it just got so painful that I like could barely walk at that point. So I stopped running and then kind of limped my way back to the hotel from the. So yeah, I didn't notice it until I didn't have any issue until the next day, and it went from like 0 to 100 in a split second.
Yeah, got it.
And do you know what it was? Like maybe just pulled or something, tear or something?
I think I just pulled it. I think like if it were a tear, it would have lasted longer. I think I just pulled something the night before, and I don't know how long adrenaline lasts. I don't know if it would last until the next morning, but something was masking the pain because I didn't feel anything until the next day.
Yeah, and if you've been in that atmosphere as well, like you said, adrenaline, and you go through it, and then you girls all had like drug testing as well. And Meg was saying she was down in the Red Bulls, but I don't know whether you did. I'd probably go for water, but like if you've got that as well, it's like there's so much going on, isn't there? That you probably
there's so much going on. I had water because I had a Red Bull before the race had started, so I didn't want any more caffeine.
Fair.
And could you sleep that night or
no?
No, just the like. No. I don't think did any of you guys sleep. I don't think anyone did that race.
I didn't expect to. Anytime we have a Friday night race, I don't sleep at all that next night. So I wasn't anticipating sleeping. I knew I wouldn't.
And how on the doubles, how's Lauren? Lauren Griffiths? How
so she's also doing better. She just moved here to Salt Lake. So she's
to come and train with you guys.
Well, she has family here. I think. I mean, I would love to say that she was coming to be with me, but I don't think that's I don't think that's the case. Her and her husband also have family here. And they used to live here a couple years ago. They had moved to Washington for a few years for her husband's school. And he's graduating in August. So they're moving back. So just kind of is more coincidence than anything, like a happy coincidence. So I saw her this week and I was asking her about it, and she's doing much better as well.
Oh, good.
But hers was more calf Achilles, like lower leg.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, blimey. And there's just nothing you can do. Hyrox is so like you can't compete even with a niggle, can you? So it's not like
yeah, I mean, especially with a calf thing, and having to, I don't know how she got through the sleds because I think it happened during the push. So she still had to finish the push and then also do the sled pull. So I'm not quite sure how she was able to pull that off, to be honest.
Adrenaline.
Yeah, adrenaline.
Adrenaline and Red Bull.
That's the answer. Yeah, that's the answer. So we've got to get on to the race then at Worlds. Like an incredible race to watch for us. And interesting like beginning of the race, I guess, with the sleds, and the most incredible comeback I think we've seen from anyone. I don't really know how you managed to climb your way back up and finish in second. Do you want to give us a little like rundown of how the race went for you and mentally what you were feeling and how you managed to pull off that
still get a
performance?
Meg.
Yeah.
It was still Meg and Lauren 1-2. Like, how would you? It's just you two all the time, isn't it? Just doesn't matter. Like on the day, it's Meg or Lauren or Megan. Still,
Yeah,
it was
I
Meg and Lauren.
honestly don't. I don't know how I was able to kind of claw back to second either. Usually, if you come out of an early station that far back, it's hard to make up that time. And you really can. You have to know that it's just doing what you can do and pushing. And unfortunately, you have to stay mentally engaged every step of the way until the end, because if you can keep pushing, you don't necessarily know like what else is going on with some of the other athletes. So I mean, it's really just kind of hoping that I was able to make up ground somewhere and kind of claw back on station to station. But if I were catching any of those girls on their best day, like I wouldn't have been able to, like they're all so good. I wouldn't have been able to kind of climb back to that second spot. But I think just the environment and like the heat, and I think a lot of people were faltering more than they normally would. And I think that just allowed me to climb back a little bit further than I probably should have been able to.
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
a very modest way of putting it.
I know. I'd have been like, tick, 1 down, tick, 2 down. How many Red Bulls did you say you had?
Just one. Maybe I should have had more. Should have stuck one on like the little stand that we were. So what's really nice is during these races, they'll put out a table and we can put snacks on it if we want. I should have stuck a Red Bull there, a little bit extra caffeine.
Did you still have your Sour Patch Kids in your sports bra?
I did, but I didn't start eating them as early as I normally would, and they fell out during my burpee broad jumps.
It's because you were going so fast, because you were making up so much time.
Just raining Sour Patch Kids.
Yes, every time I would like go down and do a burpee and then jump forwards, like I left a trail in my lane of like red, blue, yellow, and green.
Maybe this is why Lily likes burpees so much. Do you do that at home? Maybe she's like, so she gets a
candy for burpees.
Yeah.
Not yet. No snack incentive quite yet. Maybe someday, but right now it's more for her. It's just FOMO. Like she just does not want to be left out of anything.
Yeah.
No matter what it is, she is just like the greatest level of FOMO.
Oh, bless her. So taking it back then, Lauren, like what? Obviously, we know the sleds. Like, what were you thinking on this? Like in your head? Because I guess since we've been watching you and watching Hyrox, you've just always been at the front, leading from the front. Did you have a moment when you were like, okay, today's not my day, or were you like, what's going on, or were you like, okay, just in your zone, just do what I need to do and just get out of this station? Like, what were you thinking at that?
Probably a blend of all that. Maybe not, today is not my day, because I did feel very fit going into that. So I thought like depending on how like the course goes or how the race goes, it could be a good day. You never know. But I felt very fit going into it. The like getting to the sleds, the sled push was hard, but like manageable, and sometimes I'll like get to a sled push, and depending on how it feels, I can come off of the sled and like be back at pace. Sometimes I'll come off of a sled and it takes me a lap to kind of get back to it, and sometimes it might take that whole 1,000 to like really get my legs back under me. But it was really like the sled pull that just like completely stopped me in my tracks, and I went to go like start the first pull and realized it didn't move at all in my first pull, and I was like, oh crap. Like this is gonna be a long station. So it just, I mean, all like I did the best I could with it. Like I put my head down and had to kind of change how I would normally pull it in terms of like there's a little bit of a hip pop kind of when you're starting a sled pull each time you get to it. So like an explosive pop in order to like get it to move a little bit faster right in that initial beginning, because same thing with the push, once you have it moving, it's a little bit easier for it to move, but it's like that initiation. And with the sled pull, you have to initiate it over and over and over again. So I kind of had to adjust how I would normally kind of initiate a sled pull each time, just because how I usually do it the sled was not moving. So it was just a grind for like 3 minutes longer than I normally have to grind on that station.
You're like, damn, I would be off by now. So what did you change? Did you just pull it slower? Could you not get that hit, like the snap?
So I like couldn't, I had to go with more of a it was less of a pop, honestly, because that was not initiating a sled move. So I had to just like pull, like grab the rope,
slow, powerful,
take a couple steps, and like slowly start it pulling.
Oof.
Yeah.
And did you feel it later on in the race? Did you feel that? I mean, I don't think it made any difference when you got to the wall balls, but did you feel?
Yeah, no, it made. I felt trashed after that sled pull. Like I was so wiped out. Where like normally I'm really excited to kind of get to the next station because I love the burpee broad jump station. But I was so wiped. I was definitely fighting for the rest of the race. Like there wasn't a moment that it wasn't like a dig deep and fight moment.
And was your tactic, or like in your head, were you thinking like just push as hard as you can on the runs to try and like make up any extra time, or were you thinking the station, like, because you're a strong runner obviously, like were you thinking that's where you're going to make the time, or were you thinking hit the stations harder than you usually would?
I thought if I were going to be making up any time, it would be with the runs. It was hard, and I wasn't able to get up to the running pace that I wanted to be running that race at. Like after the pull, I just didn't have the energy to. So I went as hard as I could access. Definitely not my goal run pace, but I knew like that was still, no matter what, that was still where I was going to be able to make up time, if I was going to be able to make it up anywhere. And then I had my husband there too, and at one of the corners. So like every time I passed on a lap, he was telling me like the gap between myself and whoever was ahead of me, and then the gap between myself and second, so I could kind of comprehend whether or not I was gaining any time, which was mentally helpful to like know that you're making some progress.
Yeah.
It's like it's a bit like, like in a race when everyone, like a running race, and everyone goes off really fast and you stick to your thing and then you start to pick people off. I feel like if you're the person that's coming past people, once you take over one, that gives you a little bit of a boost to get the next. Did you feel that? Did that like help at all to like keep trying to kind of tick people off? And
not the actual act of passing anybody, but what did help was knowing every time I did pass my husband and knowing that the gap was getting smaller. That was helpful. So it was reassuring to hear that like the effort I was putting in was doing something. Whether it would be enough, I didn't know until the race would be over, but it was helpful to hear.
But I think it's just totally a lesson in like keep trying until the end. I mean, we've seen it before, like in the men's race when Graham Halliday did those 100 wall balls and made up however many places. Like it just proves that because you didn't give up and stop fighting, like you've still got the whole rest of the race to go, and anything can happen, and anything can happen at the wall balls especially. So like I guess to have the mental strength to keep
And
yourself.
especially with the new technology, like there were a lot more no reps across the board with a lot of the competitors than there usually are. So and I assume that that's going to be a technology we'll probably see going forwards. So also like keeping that in mind, that like not only might you be able to go a little bit faster on the wall balls, but people might be no repping more than they're used to. So you can, it gives you a little bit, just a shot of potentially catching.
Yeah, you're a bit more accurate. Did you get any no reps, or did you just?
I don't think, I mean, I could probably go back and look, but I don't think I got any of the no reps. When they let us earlier that morning practice on the target, and I was getting a lot of no reps, like when I was practicing, while I was figuring out like where and how hard I needed to hit it in order for it to count. So that was really helpful to like have an opportunity before the race started to figure out like where the sensor was and how hard I needed to hit the sensor. And then in terms of, because we assumed that was going to be at Worlds. So practicing here at the house, we made this like tiny little box of like where I was aiming my wall ball. So I was very used to, with hundreds and thousands probably of wall balls, like trying to hit this tiny little dot on a wall.
Yeah, precision was key, wasn't it? Like,
yeah.
I think so many, a lot of people did get caught out and get a lot of no reps, and it changes the leaderboard. It totally changes the game. And then what about, there's been a bit flying around, especially with Hunter and his performance, about kind of like, I guess maybe power to weight ratio, or like how strong as opposed to how lean and like weight and things. Did you change anything coming into this race? Did you feel any different, that you were lighter than usual, or think that anything had an effect there? Or what's your thoughts on that?
I don't think anything, like in terms of my strength numbers, they were the same they're the same that they've been in my postpartum life. I've still not, and I don't know if I'll ever get back to the strength I had pre-pregnancy. But in terms of like the past 2 years afterwards, I'm just as strong, if not stronger than like, it's just like a completely different journey of my life. But so I'm not as strong as I have been at my like peak strength. But in terms of where I've been racing the past 2 years, I like my strength level is the same, if not higher, based off of numbers.
No,
Interesting, isn't it?
And totally different journey after having a baby, as to like your body, what it can do. But then I also think maybe the benefits of mental strength as well. They say a lot of people are stronger mentally once they've had a child, and I don't know, have more things to draw on emotionally as well to keep pushing through. Do you feel like your mindset's changed?
I don't think it's changed too much. There's just I think it's helpful to have, I find it helpful to have more things on my plate, and just like more things in life to be grateful for, and things that, so we consider ourselves all these different things. So like you might consider yourself an athlete or a runner, and now I've gotten to add that like I'm a mom, and like that comes first and foremost. And it's, I think just adding these pieces that you identify with, there's a strength in that. Like having one sole identifier, I think, is very limiting. So as like we age and grow and expand and find more identifiers, and this, like, I'm sure there's going to be more things that I'll be able to identify with, but the more I find, I feel like it's not even mental strength, it's just easier to kind of handle everything else, because I'm not solely like an athlete, or I'm not solely a runner. Like I have all these other things that identify me.
Yeah, it's a really good way of looking at it, isn't it? And then I guess, for example, like loads of people have probably asked you about the race, and you were probably taking time with Anthony as well to just like think about the race. But like Lily's not going to come up and be like, hey mom, how are the sleds? Like you're just her mom, and then you've got to get straight back into that and get back into the normal routine. And it's quite nice to have the separate, compartmentalize, I guess, different things and have that different part to your life.
Yeah, she's immediately like, I'm hungry.
Yeah.
Okay, can we play? Okay, let's go running. I'm like, I'm tired.
Yeah. You're like, do you know what I've just been doing?
I can't run right now. Ask Daddy.
Yeah.
Oh, bless her. It's true though, it is. It's having like different things, different parts of your life. Do you find being what I don't know what the saying is, I'm so gonna get this wrong, but like people say when you're a busy person, you're more productive because you like have less time to fit things in and stuff. So do you find that, or are you just like, wow, my day is so long, I'm so ready to go to bed?
I think like having more things on my plate allows me to be more structured. At points in my life where I've had less on my plate, things get away because I can push it off and think like, oh, I'll get to that. Versus like, oh, I have all these things that need to get done today, so I'm going to do this at this time, and just kind of being able to like, there's the checking boxes things instead of like, checking off like people as you're passing them, but like the checking of the boxes of like being able to, and it feels good like when you are able to get something done and you can put like that check mark on and move on to the next, like there's got to be something going on mentally that like it just feels good, and it makes you want to then go check another box.
Yeah, is that like, yeah, like achievement, isn't it, that you've like
Yeah.
managed to do it? Like, yeah.
And
so
it's
true.
addicting. Like when you like, no matter what an achievement you're getting, like in any aspect of life, like that's addicting. Like, oh, I did that. Like I can, let's see what else I can get done.
Yeah. And so you also, you coach, don't you, as well? Like, and do you like coach athletes? Like, are you a full-time coach as well? Or like, how do you fit that? And so you obviously train yourself, you're a full-time coach, you're a full-time mum. Like for all the mums that work out there and everyone that's trying to do Hyrox, like, how do you fit it all in? What have you got any top tips?
It is, and I know this is cliche, but it is all individual. So for us and in our household, Lily loves being active. She loves seeing us moving and doing things. So I can get away with working out with her around me. She's very entertained by that. When I'm doing computer work, she hates it. She's like climbing all over me. She climbs up on top of like the computer, tries to like bang on the keyboard. So the way I have to structure it is like computer and coaching and things like that have to be done during her sleeping windows. Whether that's before she gets up, after she goes to bed, or during a nap window, because she does not accept me just sitting there in front of the screen. But she's fine with being in the garage with me while I'm working out, or going in the stroller as we go for a run. And I know that's not the case for every parent. Like I think I have lots of friends who are also active, but their child wants to be attached to them and won't let them do any working out in the garage. And I feel for that. So it's kind of what works for you, your family, and your household. So for us, and it took a little bit of time to realize like what she will and will not accept, and me being on the computer is not one of them. So I have to get
Sounds
that
like a
stuff
great
done.
excuse though. I mean, I think there'll be a lot of people that are like that. Oh, you want me to go work out? Yeah. You want to go for a run? Sure.
So yeah, any of like that type of work has to be done while she's well, either she's sleeping or my husband's available to kind of keep her entertained, because she needs to be constantly entertained.
Bless her. Oh, they're so cute though. So what about future? What's the plans? Just get back into training, train hard, hit the next season? Or I mean, the coaching is going really well. You can see that like you guys are really pushing the hybrid edge, and you got loads of amazing athletes. And is it to keep growing that? And What's
Yeah,
the
we
cards?
really want to keep growing that. We get tons of people asking about one-on-ones. But I'll take it off. I'm sorry.
You're on the
sorry.
computer, mom.
Yeah, you're
Yeah,
on the
stop
computer.
it. Do some burpees at the same time.
Yeah. She wanted her helmet off. But we do keep our one-on-ones very limited. We're both full. Like I have 5 athletes. He has 3, including me. And then and we don't do more than that because like it is truly individualized and a lot of time gets put into that. So we're trying to more grow the community for our tracks. So we have a pro track and we also have a daily dose track. So the daily dose is ideally like an hour a day versus the pro track is high volume. It's almost exactly what I'm doing just a week later. So like I test out all the workouts and then kind of give feedback and we adjust things as needed before the rest of our athletes do it. So we're trying to grow that community and those tracks because we can put a lot of energy into that and then it can benefit a larger amount of people versus when we do the one-on-ones, it's only benefiting that one individual person. So we're not helping as many people as we could as if we were able to like grow a community. So that is where a lot of our energy is going and kind of trying to grow the community around the tracks that we have.
That's super cool. And I've noticed as well that you've said on one of them that like gyms could use them. So like Hyrox partner gyms and stuff like that could use like the programs as their programming, I guess.
Yeah.
Not
So
just individuals.
if a gym wanted to like be able to give extra credit pieces for their athletes, then they could do the pro track. But I think the daily dose would be in terms of a daily programming because that is what can fit into an hour. That's what I would recommend more unless they like on the side want to write like, okay, this is what we're doing in class. And then all these extra things, like this is what's also here for the day if you want to do extra. That would be definitely on a case by case basis and they can reach out and ask what we think might best serve their community because I think each gym is different.
Yeah, totally. But it's quite cool to have like the concept of, I guess, people that are, I mean, like you look now, especially over in the UK, and that like everyone's a Hyrox coach. But like, I mean, seeing what you guys have achieved and like the athletes that you train as well, like even like Kate Davey and also JK with his performances, and
They are
just
smashing it too.
Yeah.
Like
unreal. Like we were
it's
talking to Megan, she said about Kate when she got on the rower, and she was like, Kate Davey. And Kate had this really shocked look on her, and it was like we were like, bloody hell, Kate. Good
and she's
effort.
only getting better. Like she did some more testing recently and like her numbers and in multiple areas. I'm like, how, like so much progress so quickly. I was like, wow.
So cool though.
It's
It is.
amazing.
It's really,
And
really
she's been
cool.
buzzing about it. Like she really has been quite vocal about how much she's learning from you guys. And I think that's exactly it. It's really cool to see that maybe with the opportunity for like gyms and stuff to use some of your guys' programming, it's programming that's well thought out and scientific and based and like created by athletes that know, Hyrox inside out and training, like your backgrounds in CrossFit and running and all your training and like
We try and make it very detailed too. So like at the beginning of, like I have it pulled up in front of me, at the beginning of every single day, there's a whole note section in terms of like what the stimulus of the day is and like suggested order of pieces. And then when you get into each individual piece, because there's multiple pieces in a day, there's detailed instructions of like scaling options, time caps, substitutions and things of that sort.
Yeah, that's really like it's really cool, like really nice to hear, I think, and especially for the community and growing the community, it's nice to have like that, yeah, leading by example, I guess.
And I've noticed so we do come from a CrossFit background and there's always like the whiteboard and people would log their results so you can see. We haven't figured out how to encourage people to like kind of log what they're doing yet because I feel like that's a really good way to help like build that
Build the
community
community.
sense. So
Yeah.
so we're still trying to figure out ways to incentivize that. So any ideas, we're always open to suggestions.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. We'll take ideas, we'll pass them on. If anyone's got them, they can drop us a
Yeah.
DM and we'll shoot them over or go directly to you. I mean,
Yeah.
It's exciting though, because it's like you're only making it better. You know, there's more things to come and it'll just keep improving, and hopefully more people will be joining, and then like you say, the community will keep growing, because that's what Hyrox has been so heavily focused on, and I think that's why it's been such a huge success. It is all about everyone getting together,
And it's accessible. Like
yeah,
there's nothing in it that like would really stop somebody from being able to complete the race.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
really,
totally.
really good.
And how
And
do you
then-
what do you see about like the next few years in the sport? And like Lauren, where do you see it going? Like, do you guys have an insight? Do you know, or just
I
your
don't have an
thoughts on-
insight, but I do think that it's going to just like keep growing and growing upon itself. I'm so curious as to, because I think I started about 5 years ago, and the first race I went to was a very small number of participants, where like now when I go to a race, it's 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times bigger than the ones that I went to in only 5 years time. And even the races in the US this year are more than double the size that they were last year. Like, I'm so curious as to that progression. Like, is it going to keep doubling? Is it going to like start to taper off? I think um I think they've done like a really great job in terms of like they don't need to really promote it on their own, because word of mouth, like so many people love it so much, like word of mouth is going to spread it just as well as any sort of like advertisement they could try to do.
And do you think it's growing in the US? Like obviously it's huge, and like we're in the UK and Europe, it's getting quite large now. Do you think there's going to be more races in the US now and like stateside?
I think it's definitely, I can see a change. It is and was a slower growth than Europe and UK especially. But it's picking up for sure, and there has been a massive growth. We're definitely not at the growth level that Europe is at. But the events here already more than triple the size that they were 2 years ago. And for the first time ever, events are selling out long before the race even happens, which was not something we were seeing. I know it's a big thing over in the UK that it's really hard to get a ticket. But we're starting to see that now. Like Toronto had sold out and they opened up another day. Chicago's sold out. I put myself on the wait list for both of those. I couldn't even get in.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. Someone think there's 2 Lauren Weeks or something.
Yeah. You don't get special access, surely.
I don't think so, or at least I haven't been told that I do. I'm on the wait list.
So on that note, then what is the plan? Have you got like a race season kind of planned out that you want to try and stick to? You don't have to give anything away as to like where you're racing if you don't want to, but do you have like a number of how many you want to do next season, or what the rough plan is?
I wouldn't care to say where I was going if I had any set in stone. I don't know for sure. I would like to do, I'd say I'd like to do at least, if they're doing 4 majors again, I would like to do at least 3 of them.
Okay.
If I can make 4, great. But I would like to do 3 of them. And then as long as timing works, because we don't have a schedule of when those bigger races are going to be. If timing works, I'd like to go to some of the ones that are closer to me too. So there's going to be one in Anaheim, LA area in December. And if there's not another like major race around that time, I'd like to go to that one. And then we don't have any spring dates released in the US yet. We only have our fall and beginning of winter ones. So I'll have to wait to hear. I thought I had heard that they're gonna expand to new cities, so I'm curious where those are gonna be. I mean, I would love for one to be in Salt Lake. I don't think they'll ever put one. I don't think they'll ever put one in Salt Lake. But it's beautiful here. It's beautiful here. There's so many places to travel and see and hike, and you could go to Moab. there's so many different, if people are outdoorsy, there's a lot to do here. So I'd love for them to bring one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Definitely.
We'll put it on our bucket list to visit
I
for
know.
sure.
My auntie lives there, I think. My auntie Sarah lives in Utah.
Oh
Yeah?
yeah, of course.
Yeah, we just saw her a few weeks ago, didn't we? They just came over. She was like, she keeps saying come out, so I'm like, maybe I need to. Maybe that's where you get good at
Do you know what
Hyrox.
part of Utah she's in?
Oh, you're testing me now. I'll have to message you after. I'll find out, and I'll let you know. I feel like Utah. I've just said like Utah. Like people say to us, you live in Scotland, and obviously it's a very big place. But
Utah's a very big state, but there's a lot of beauty in a lot of places. So I'm sure wherever she is, she's within an hour of a mountain.
yeah,
that you
like
can go
mountain
hike.
skiing, like hiking, mountain biking. Yeah, for sure. She's always out doing that kind of stuff. And so you guys don't know when the majors are. You don't like how. Do you just wait for Hyrox to get in touch and say, "Oh, hey guys, we've decided it's it's going to be these
From
dates"?
my experience, they don't tell us any sooner than a public announcement. Like we usually learn the same time everybody else does. Probably because we all have really big mouths, and everybody would know anyway. So I don't blame them for not telling us, but it does help with like cost of travel and like trying to keep it as low as possible. Like the sooner you know, the sooner you could book things, and usually cheaper they are.
And what
But
do you
yeah,
think
no, I don't.
about travel and stuff? Because like obviously that, I mean, a few people have talked about maybe Worlds being like Singapore or something next year, and like obviously travel, especially like if you're coming stateside all the time, even for like Nice this summer, like
Singapore would be a long ways away. I definitely, I would love to see Singapore. I don't want to have a world championship there. I don't think I would mind like one of the majors being there, but it doesn't, I mean, it doesn't matter what I want, but I would prefer that that's not
put it
where
out to the
Worlds is.
universe.
Manifest.
I do, that's actually a place I really want to go to. So I would like a reason to go there for not as big of a race, like so a major would be nice. But I don't know. I've heard a lot of rumor about that too, but I feel like it's probably coming from one source, and then everybody else keeps repeating like
Yeah,
the one
100%.
source of the rumor.
So you should start
So,
Utah, and then everyone will.
I know, and then everyone.
We should start that
Worlds
one.
is in Salt Lake next year, guys.
Everyone's like, "Oh, really?" They've got great hiking.
Yeah, I'm gonna start my own rumor.
We'll help you. We'll back you up. We'll be like, we heard it as well.
But yeah, no, I have no idea where any of them can be. I've only heard the same rumors that you guys have, but I would love to know, because I can start kind of picking what my top 3 choices would be and planning around that.
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about Hyrox as well, isn't it? Like you touched on it. You want to go to Singapore. You want to go to Singapore, Lily? Maybe.
You want to go to Singapore? Yeah.
Maybe one day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be cool. Cool holiday. And then Hyrox, like loads of people are talking about it as in it's an excuse to go somewhere, and it's making people, book a holiday and do a race, which is quite a nice concept as well, I guess.
Yeah, I am far more cultured these 5 years in of doing Hyrox than I was.
Yeah. Tick a few places off for sure. And then we won't keep you much longer, because I know you've got a child who's like, come on, mom.
I want to play.
Yeah. Why is this computer? We don't do this.
I just wanted to ask if there's any like changes that you're thinking of. Is it just more of the same for training for next year, or is there anything that you really want to like double down on or focus on, or do you just retest and adjust and see where you could make the most gains, I guess?
So with the training that I'm doing right now, I'm still seeing progress with that. Like I haven't stagnated quite yet. So there really won't be very many major changes. If I see myself start to stagnate and I'm not getting better, and it doesn't have to always reflect in the race time, because then all courses are different, but I can see it I can see it in my training runs. I can see it in my like strength tests. I can see it in maybe a benchmark workout. I'm still seeing progress. When that starts to slow down, then I would make some changes. But for right now, like what we're doing is working. So I'm going to kind of stay the course. And then just thinking about like years down the road, I would love to try and be a little bit more competitive in like pure running.
Okay,
So I like try and keep that not necessarily a focus, but like a more of a like primary piece of my training, because I know it takes a long time to develop that, and I don't want to wait until I'm done racing Hyrox to start trying to develop that. So I'm like kind of starting now and eventually
yeah.
see what I can do with it.
Yeah, for sure. Like road or trails, or not sure?
Probably more road. I'm not a great downhill runner. I am actually doing a trail race tomorrow, but I don't know
Cool.
but I don't know the terrain, so I'm not sure. Like I like trails, rolling hills.
Okay, yeah, not like literally, yeah. Not
And I don't
fell
mind.
races.
So there are some trail races, like there's some in Lake Tahoe where the race is just to the top. Like I love that. That sounds great. It's the down I don't
That
don't
sounds
like.
great. Says not many people ever. Like everyone's like, what goes up must come down. Lauren's like, let's finish at the top.
No, we finish at the top. The ski lift will bring us back down.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I love it. Do you mind if we ask you very quickly our cheeky insight? We have 8 questions. We can do it as like a quick fire just to finish off. Is that okay?
Yeah, of course.
And then we promise we'll let you go. The first one is, which shoes do you wear for Hyrox?
So right now I've been running in the Endorphin Pro 3s. I feel like there's like a lot of, I know this is supposed to be quick fire. There's a lot of cushion in them. So I don't feel that I get as beat down as some other shoes that I've raced in. But I am like, I've been like toying with maybe trying something else in a few races if I can get to some that aren't as important.
To test.
I could just try it in a major anyway. Just kind of, I'm still dialing in, especially equipment wise, like what's going to work best for me. But right now, I love the Pro 3s. I know they came out with the Pro 4s. I was sent a pair of them before Worlds, but I was afraid to try something new.
Yeah,
that's pretty risky, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you wear them for your running races as well? Like if you did road races, or do you
Yeah, so I like the Saucony brand a lot. So some of the running races, they have the elites as well. So I've raced in those for some of the road races. And then my most recent road race, I tried a pair of Nikes. And it's actually the first pair of Nike shoes I've ever had. And
were they like the Vaporflies or something?
They were the Alpha Flies.
The Alpha Flies. Oh,
yeah.
You went right to the top.
I went right to the top of the line.
If you're gonna try
really
Nikes for first time, go big. Yeah.
I really liked them. I wore them for a half marathon. They were very nice shoes.
Yeah, they're really nice.
But
I thought the Vaporflies are really good, but I think it was Zara who told me she did a Hyrox in one, and then because they kind of pointed at the back, aren't they? It got stuck in the rower, and then it kind of pulled the whole back of a shoe off. So it put me off.
I haven't tried the Vaporflies with the Alpha Flies because I was trying to think that, like, is this a pair of shoes that I would want to try in Hyrox? And my concern is, like with a lot of shoes, there's an upper and a tongue, so you can kind of like cinch down so that your foot's not going to fall out. The way these are made, there is no tongue and there's no heel lock, so I don't know if my foot would stay in the shoe while I was pushing a sled.
Fair shout.
But the grip on the front is actually not bad. Like if your foot stayed in, I think it would be fine for the sled push. I don't know whether or not your foot would stay in the shoe because it's more like a slipper.
Yeah, totally. They're so thin, aren't they?
Yeah.
Well, that was a really cool quick first question, and that I added to make it even longer. So
You really didn't
let's see how well we
there.
get on now.
Okay, next up is, what's your favorite Hyrox venue that you've been to?
I mean, I'm very partial to the Vegas one, but
Oh, okay, yeah.
and not for the venue, just for like kind of more the feel of it. Like, we have family there. I lived there for 4 years, so there were a lot of I had a lot of support and a lot of friends.
Cool.
So I'm partial to it, not because of necessarily the venue, but because of like the experience more.
Yeah, totally.
Good answer. I like it. Okay, next up is, which is your favorite Hyrox station?
Furbies.
I knew that was going to be it. That was quick fire. Good.
We're getting quicker as we go. Like, by the end, we're going to be like.
If you could do a doubles Hyrox, I know you've done doubles, but with anyone in the world, it doesn't have to be a Hyrox athlete. It could just be anyone. Who would you choose?
So I still haven't done one with my husband yet. So we need to check that off of the list.
Yeah,
this
that
year,
would be
hopefully.
so cool.
What about when you're
cool.
older? When Lily's older, what about a mum and daughter duo?
Yes.
I reckon that's on the card.
So they're what are they calling the kids? Rocks? There's a name for it.
Is it something superstars?
Rock stars,
like
I think.
Rock
Rock
stars.
stars.
Yeah,
So the age for that is 8. So we have a long ways to go.
nearly that. It'll fly by, won't it?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, next one I think we know is, do you fuel for Hyrox? And if so, what do you use? Have you ever used anything other than Sour Patch Kids during the race?
Mid-race, Sour Patch Kids, and I've also used those Cliff Blocks.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
So
yeah.
just another gummy thing.
Yeah, perfect.
I've ran with gels in my sports bra, and I've never used one, and they've often fallen out. So like, I've gone to reach for it and it's not there anymore.
I feel like if you're ever on a Hyrox floor after Lauren's competed, you could just you could pull these free fuel. There'll be like snacks the whole way around.
That's the incentive to keep going. Okay, next one is, what's your favorite type of training session? Like kind of like format for Hyrox?
I wouldn't even say that this is a type of session, but I love long, easy runs. Like, I love to just go and kind of blank out and just chill on a nice, easy pace.
Yeah, switch off.
Yeah.
Perfect. Then I've got 2 more. Why should someone sign up for their first Hyrox? Like, what would you say to someone if they were on the fence of, should I sign up or should I not?
So no matter what level you're at, it's going to be hard the first time you do it, but it's also like a huge confidence builder, and it could be a confidence builder for multiple different reasons. Like, say you are super fit, like, you're going to find confidence in just realizing like what you can do, and then from the first one, like, there's going to be something you could have done better. So it just like gets addicting there. And then say you come in and you don't feel ready or super fit, like, just the act of accomplishing it in itself. So there's a lot of reasons, obviously, but I think like you can gain so much confidence just in like joining the community and completing a race.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. And then the last question is there anyone you would like to see us interview on our podcast that you would like to hear more? It can be a specific person or a type of person in the Hyrox world, or a type of athlete.
Have you guys talked to Vivian yet?
No, we haven't actually.
She is hysterical. Like,
I've listened to some podcasts with her on, and she's good crack. I mean, like, yeah, she's quite funny, isn't she? And she's an incredible athlete, but she's like also very centered. Like, she has a lot of other things going on in her life. Yeah.
She's a dry sense of humor, and I think it's hysterical. So
very dry sense of humor. Yeah.
We will try and
that's a cool one. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, well, Thank you so much. Is there anything else you would like to add or tell our listeners? I mean, we've spoken about the coaching and the program. Where can people find you? All of that sort of thing.
Yeah, no, just thank you for having me on. And again, we don't have any space for one-on-ones, but you can email the Hybrid Engine if you have any questions about how to sign up for one of the tracks, or we have an Instagram page that will link you to where our programs are as well. And then if you want to go directly to the website, it's just thehybridengine.com, and it lists everything that we have.
Amazing. And then you're just Lauren Weeks on Instagram, is that right?
Lauren, and then there's _E_Weeks.
Okay, perfect. We will add everything in the description. Fay, did you have anything else to ask?
No, I think I just really appreciate your time. But like anyone that's listening, we've probably changed this time about 3 or 4 times because of our work, and Lauren's just been the best at like going, yeah, no problem. Yeah, cool. I'll meet you then. So yeah, you're a really down to earth and lovely person, just as much as like everyone sees. So it's really nice to see, and thank you for making time for us. We appreciate it.
No, thank you. I appreciate it. It's cool to see that there's like a female driven podcast coming out. Yeah, got all the boys taking over.
I know. We're doing it for the girls.
We don't really talk statistics on this one, do we? We were like, how's money?
What food do you eat?
Where'd you keep your snacks? Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, Lauren. And thanks to everybody that's listening. Please share this far and wide. We'll try and get more girls on the podcast as well. Get Vivian on. If you want to hit up Lauren for some training and get on one of the tracks, do you call it a track program?
Yeah, so we have a like a pro track, which is following my program, and then the daily dose, which is an hour a day.
Cool. So if you want to get on one of those two, then head to our description and we'll put the links on so you can head straight there, get involved and hit your Hyrox season in 24-25. God, that's scary, isn't it?
Crazy. 25.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Right, cool. Cheers, guys.